Rationalization. Rationalization, this topic in the series of Business Organization and Environment video lecture series, we are going to discuss about the rationalization process. As we know, rationalization, the word, means to behave in a rational manner. And man being a rational animal, we should think of behaving in a more scientific way. That means whenever changes are required, changes are done. We know business organization is in changing business environment and sustains itself in the dynamic environment. For this, sustaining in the dynamic and ever-changing business environment, rationalization is really needed. Rationalization, what is rationalization? Rationalization is basically a reorganization of the company in order to take the advantage of operating efficiency. That means whenever changes are required, the changes are done in simple way. This sort of reorganization may lead to an expansion or reduction in company size, a change of policy, or an alteration of strategy pertaining to particular products offered. Similar to a reorganization, a rationalization is more widespread, encompassing strategy as well as structural changes. Rationalization is a necessary thing for a company to increase revenue, decrease cost, and improve its bottom line. That means with a changing environment, rationalization is needed also, and it is really very important for any business organization to sustain in the market. If we see the competitors are changing, we also try to incorporate those changes to capture the market or sustain ourselves in the market. So this rationalization process is nothing a concept which is a very practical, doing business in a very practical approach. Whenever the changes are required, changes are done. If we don't sustain to those changes, the survival of the business unit is going to be impractical and very, very difficult. If we talk about the objectives of rationalization, so basically the objective of rationalization is to eliminate waste and inefficiency of every kind. Whenever there is overproduction or underproduction, the market demand falls down or market demand increases, the production mismatch and the supply mismatch and the demand mismatch is seen there. So whenever we see those changes, we try to eliminate waste and inefficiency of every kind. Then to bring about an adjustment in aggregate production and aggregate demand by initiating agreements among various industries. If we see the production and the demand mismatch is there, we try to incorporate changes and bring a balance between both the important terms. Then to undertake the measures of absorption, amalgamation, and reconstruction for the protection of weaker and inefficient units. This important point is really needed, especially for the economy as a whole. Whenever there are sick units, the large units or the better units, try to amalgamate them or absorb them so that we can sustain those industry. Sustaining those industry is more important rather than closing those units, because closing those units will cost much more higher in terms of employment also and in terms of capital also. Then to maintain stable and fair prices, if we try to incorporate changes according to the changing demand of the situation, this prices and the stability is also there. So both the manufacturers and the consumer benefit, because if we incorporate modern technological changes, the cost reduction process is there. Then to ensure maximum allocation and utilization of available resources. That means we should take our steps to make optimum use of utilization of resources. Then to check overcapitalization and undercapitalization of financial resources, not to ensure fair return and rational allocation of finances. Whenever there is overcapitalization or undercapitalization, the industry really needs the demand for rationalization process so that there is no inefficiency or any waste. Then to achieve the goal of self-financing or plugging back of profits in order to minimize the burden of bank loans, debentures, and other long-term. Then to introduce the technique of cost and management, accounting, budgetary control, and internal audit. So we see that on financial part also, reorganization is really required of not only the production line, or in a physical form. It is the service form also we are trying to incorporate rationalization process. They introduce a system of scientific selection, training, promotion, and wage payments of workers. So the workers also get benefited from this rationalization process because there is a scientific selection. People are selected according to their skill, they are trained, they are promoted, and they are given financial incentive, that is wage payments, according to their skill. Then they provide better working conditions also for the workers, like ventilation, lighting, proper working hours, absence of noise, drinking water, canteen, restroom, etc. So the workers are also benefited through this rationalization process because the need of the demand is that employer and employee both should be happy. Then to institute various schemes like unemployment or sickness, accident, insurance, housing, facilities, etc. They also protect the interests of consumers by supplying their better quality products at reasonable prices and ensuring their regular and uninterrupted supply. So when we see the objectives of rationalization, this objectives incorporates these elements of rationalization: combination, standardization, specialization, simplification, mechanization, modernization, and application of scientific management on industry-wide scale and social objectives. Combination means when we combine many units so that they can reap the economies of scale. Standardization means we are producing on a standard form, and that means the reaping of the benefits of large scale production. Specialization gives also advantage of division of work and operational efficiency. Simplification of process gets the production done in a simplified manner and in a more practical order. Mechanization means automation or use of machines. Modernization, we all know, doing things according to the updated technology. And application of scientific management incorporates all these things on an industry-wide scale. That means working according to the situation, according to the demand of the industry. And with these elements, the social objective of every sector or every stakeholder of any business units are benefited. So the whole society is benefited. If we talk about rationalization process, every stakeholder is benefited. Like if we talk about the manufacturers, when they incorporate the rationalization process, the cost of production is reduced, the profit is increased, the competition is removed, the economies of large scale are there. Industrial research, there is a scope for industrial research also. When we do according to the scientific and rationalized way, then they get and to get financial and industrial stability is there because we change according to the situation, according to the demand of the market, according to the demand of the environment. So the stability process is also there because you get more well established in the production line, and the workers are benefited. We see the objectives, we can incorporate these advantages to the workers, that they get a higher remuneration according to their skill. They increase efficiency because automation process and training processes there is stability in employment, there are better working conditions, proper ventilation. Then there is a mutual cooperation because things are done by in the whole line of segment, and there's proper selection and training also according to your skill and according to your efforts, and better amenities are there. So the workers at the end also are benefited through this rationalization process. And apart from that, the workers, apart from employees, the main segment of the market, the consumers are benefited. Through this rationalization process, the production are increased, the cost is reduced, better quality of products are produced, the consumers get a better choice of product, they get variety of products, and their standard of living is increased because the cost reduced products are reaching every nook and corner of the consumer. And we are seeing in today's world also, the consumers' standard of living has increased. Either it is a lower middle class or lower class, they all are having basic, apart from basic amenities, many luxurious goods. So this rationalization and scientific management can be given to the credit for this process. And when we have talked about the manufacturer, the employer and the worker, we cannot leave the nation because they are the component of nation. So the overall, the production is increased, the national income is increased, the demand is increased, the investment is increased, utilization of resources are there. when we start producing on a large scale, we can think of export, and the whole nation is prospered through this rationalization process. But at the same time, apart from the advantage, there is some disadvantage, which is a meager one, because when we talk about rationalization, there is unemployment, because unemployment is there because automation process has been started, mechanization is been started, use of more machines for a large scale production. The demand of the market needs that there should be better automation. Then there is growth of monopoly also, because when we amalgamate or combine with a sick unit, or at a when even not in sick unit, even if two large units combine to take the advantage of rationalization process, there is a growth of monopoly, because they start capturing the market and they start having a monopoly power in them. They are beneficial to producers. That means, that doesn't mean that is only beneficial to producers, although consumers also benefited through this rationalization. But if we compare it, a comparative analysis done, then producers are more benefit, and heavy investment is required in rationalization process, because when you bring changes in your environment, when you bring changes in industry, investment is required. But truly speaking, these disadvantages are meager as compared to the advantage which rationalization gives. And if we just compare rationalization and scientific management is at a micro level, while rationalization is a macro level. Rationalization is a business and provides scope for combinations, but scientific management has no such scope. Thirdly, the benefits secured from scientific management are enjoyed by the employees of the firm, more by the employees of the firm, while rationalization, both the employees and the employers. And rationalization can be successfully implemented with the cooperation and interference of government. The government can also bring changes, they can close the sick units, they can provide for unemployment relief, they can incorporate many scheme changing demand. And as compared to that, scientific management doesn't require or doesn't get any help of business government. But at this end, concluding this slide, I'll say that rationalization and scientific management both are required. Rationalization is required for bringing more changes according to the need of demand. Scientific management is required for a better scientific way of doing things. Thank you.